Now let's jump right into this. Damn near lost my controller. And that bitch was sitting right behind me. Alright, I think everything's set up the right way. We just finna play and talk. Get some late night streams in. I don't know if anybody's gonna be online. But you know what I'm saying, it's always better to get certain stuff out so that it doesn't stay inside and fuck with your soul too much. You know what I'm saying? I guess everybody gotta go through their little shits every now and again. They little jump scares in life, but hold on, let me see something real quick. What do I even I need to do Lord Jabu Jabu Belly so I can finish that. I got the boomerang. I think I have enough Deku nuts to finish this dungeon. I'm definitely I'm definitely not posting a raw version on on YouTube. I'm gonna have to record that separately so I can get all my thoughts out in one go. It's a little bit harder to do that when I'm actively. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have a gameplay video going on the side. Probably record that and then yeah. Or shit, give the controller to Yoshi, yet let Yoshi play while I just fucking talk. Shit, you feel like doing that? Oh, what? Mm, all right. Let me say, what? You sleepy? Hold on, then let me reset and just start a new save. What'd you say? What you mean? I'm making a new save file. You ain't gotta worry about that. Uh, there you go. Now you can play. I'm gonna just sit here and, you know, look blue. But yeah, bro. I got Yoshi on the controller playing the shit so I can focus while I talk, make it a little bit easier to really like, you know what I'm saying, get my thoughts in order. Oh, we gotta fix the textures for that one. It's some it's some broken or missing textures for the little 4K 3DS shit. I was like, Zelda, what the fuck? Turn that down about right there. Bitch ass might up. Okay. They definitely updated a lot of stuff because the first time I got the textures for this game, his eyes was wide the fuck open the whole time. All right, let's get this video underway. Got Yoshi on the controller, so I don't have to focus too much. um, well, shit. I think the craziest thing I ever heard my grandmother say to me is, "You're not special. Everybody gets raped." And even now, as I'm saying it out my mouth, I recognize that like that's not some shit you could really say to anybody unless you're in a position where like people are like really, really looking out for you, trying to make sure don't, you feel me, shit don't go left. Because with social media being so impactful nowadays and having the ability to really change people's lives, you feel me, in the blink of an eye, um, it's like if I hopped on social media and I said some shit like that to somebody, that's my ass. Like the video is definitely going viral. Like that's a video that'll probably go viral no matter how, you feel what I'm saying? Like how unpopular somebody is on social media. It don't matter how many people, you feel what I'm saying, typically scroll past their content. The moment you say some crazy shit like that, like the whole world is looking at you sideways. But understanding that, you feel me, she said that shit with her whole chest. And essentially, like when you're dealing with people who have previously, you feel what I'm saying, been abusive, but then on top of that, they also have, you know, like obvious cognitive problems. It's like you never really know if that person meant what they said right? Because like that's just who they are as a person, or if or if um or if their cognitive disabilities have, you feel what I'm saying, gotten so bad that now you're basically just dealing with someone who is constantly like making up things as they go, right? Like they literally have no concept of who you are or why you are important, or you feel what I'm saying? Like what you've done recently, right? Like if you've been working hard or whatever, like they'll have no concept of that. If you a fucking bum, but they want to look at you as if you're the greatest thing in the world, they'll have no concept of you being a bum. You feel what I'm saying? It's like when you're dealing with people who come from like family trauma, who, you feel me, they're very much used to perpetuating um what is it, the cycle of abuse, right? Family curses and all of that, right? It's very difficult to know for sure if you're just dealing with their narcissism, you feel what I'm saying, their antisocial personality disorder, whatever, like borderline personality disorder shit, or if that person is just so far gone cognitively that like who they are as a person right now is just like a world away from who they really are as a person. And that's really my struggle right now. Because my grandmother drank real bad, right? Like till she was blackout, you feel what I'm saying? Throwing up all over herself type shit. Like she was a real life alcoholic. And then she even dropped me when I was a kid type shit. Luckily, I ain't hit my fucking head and get, brain damage and no shit like that. But ultimately, it was like when it comes to the way a lot of people in my family be moving, not even just my grandmother, a lot of times people will use the fact that you didn't get hurt, or you feel me, that you didn't go through something worse as an excuse for what you actually went through already, or to try to like smooth it over or to minimize what you went through. So when it comes to dealing with some of the stuff that um when it comes to dealing with some of the stuff that my grandmother that said or did, a lot of times because of the family, curse, the whole cycle of abuse, a lot of times I'll just get used to the idea that like, all right, I'm gonna complain about it with my little, chosen family, my friend group or whatever. But then after that, I'm basically cooked, you know? What's going on, Si? I wasn't even gonna stream today, but I had to. I had to get some shit off my chest. Didn't want to be on stream. Didn't want to be up all night dealing with the insomnia, dealing with the, emotions. So, I'm on stream now. Um, but yeah, I say all that to say this. Uh, Having a grandmother who was an alcoholic, and then doing a research on alcoholics and realizing, damn, about 70% of the people who get sober still end up with alcohol related brain damage. And my grandmother is one of those 70, one of the people within that 70%. So now I just got to deal with the fact that my grandmother is a person who does not remember any of my academic accomplishments, does not remember any of my well, really any of my accomplishments, period, right? She's liable to say some real cruel, real crazy, mean, like abusive stuff, and then completely fucking forget about it. And then she's also the type of person where if she's upset about something, most of the time she won't say anything. She'll just build resentment and then build a narrative inside of her own head about what the situation is. And then she'll kind of blow up at you. And then you'll have to do all of the work to remind her that no, what you think happened is very different than what actually happened. Right. And like, Now I'm in a position where I might have to go to court. You feel what I'm saying? I might have to take legal action to make sure I have a place to live, and that like you feel me. Everything is you feel me still going according to plan in terms of like me moving to Virginia and all of that. Because now I'm dealing with a person who has cognitive disabilities, right? Has always had cognitive disabilities, but now is having cognitive disabilities so severe. Any previous conversations we've had about plans I had to move out to Virginia, me saving up money, all of the cool stuff I've been doing with botanical activity, that shit does not exist in her mind at all. And even if it does, it's so minimal in comparison to what it actually is that to her, in her mind, she's just been trying her hardest this whole time and she's been patient, whatever. When in reality, my grandmother just consistently does stuff that's unsafe. Like she'll randomly call me in the middle of the day, not realizing like I'm working. You feel me? And she'll be like, "Oh, I need help with my bags. I need help with the cart. I can't get it up the steps." And I'm thinking to myself, "You're so stubborn. You refuse to take the paperwork to your primary care doctor, right?" Like when she's you feel me cognizant and we're talking, she outright refuses to take the paperwork for, the alcohol related brain damage, the memory clinic for Johns Hopkins, right? She refuses to take that to a primary care doctor, to fax it, to email it, any of that, right? And I can only do so much being from the younger generation where it's like eventually if I keep pushing and pushing, it'll cross the line and now I'm kind of like being verbally abrasive or verbally abusive. And that's not the route that I want to take. But when you're dealing with someone whose memory problems has them, you feel what I'm saying, like completely forgetting all of the cruel, fucked up shit that they say, all of the fucked up shit that they've done, right? And I'm gonna get like, super, it might be TMI, but like I prefer to use myself as an example so that other people who have gone through stuff like this can actually heal from this shit. But one of the craziest things my grandmother said to me just this year was that whole, "So what? You're not special. Everybody gets raped." And this whole conversation came about because she wanted my cousin to have her birthday party here. And I was like, you do realize that, like, if I had been a little less willful, right? If I was a little more vulnerable as a child, my cousin would have been pregnant with my child because my cousin had like very inappropriate behavior. Like, imagine me being 3 years old. My cousin is 7 months younger than me, right? But like, because nobody is really protecting me in the household, my cousin, even at 3 years old, was doing weird stuff like taking off her pamper and trying to get me to touch her. You feel what I'm saying? Like literally following me around, trying to convince me, you feel what I'm saying, that that was a good fucking idea. So like with stuff like that happening over and over throughout my life, and then me having mixed feelings about it, then finally going to therapy and being like, yeah, nah, that shit was fucked up, telling my birth mother about it. My birth mother didn't do shit. Everybody like, oh yeah, Ronnie don't play that, this, that, and the third. Whole time, Ronnie ain't give a fuck. She knows, and she didn't do shit about it. I know what my aunt's vagina looks like. I'm gonna just say that and leave it there. My birth mother knows about that. My grandmother knows about that. But the reality is, none of the stuff I went through registers in her mind, nor does it register in the minds of anybody else. Because number one, I'm a man. So a lot of people that have like ideas about traditional expectations for gender roles, they feel like no matter what, my problems in life, my traumatic experiences, whatever I've gone through, it should never get to a point where it's making somebody else uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form, right? Like nobody else should have to change who they are for the better just because, you know, I got raped as a child or some shit like that, right? Like that's pretty much how people carry it, right? So because of the family being so disconnected and everybody bullshitting, pretending like, oh, we love each other, but like people really only come around for like holidays or, you know, funerals or, you know, maybe like 3 times a year, you know, at most. It's like everybody is allowed to make up their own idea of who I am as a person, what my accomplishments may be. You feel what I'm saying? My morals, you feel me? Like whatever I have going on, like they can basically just, you know, I'm a blank canvas. They feel like they can just take take a mile with every little inch I give type shit. And you're expected to keep the peace without considering what it did to you. Exactly. So, you know, it's been situations where like where one of my uncles, for example, who used to beat me up real bad when I was a kid, where he came to the house and he was just in a house. And I talked to my grandmother about it, and I'm like, you do realize that one of the reasons I have so many like issues with my PTSD and my chronic depression now is because of situations with him, right? Like he should not be in a house. In my grandmother's mind, you know, she's been so patient and understanding. But the reality is, I had to fight to keep people like that out the house. And whenever I talk about it with her, whenever she brings it up on her own, she'll be like, you know, I can't have a relationship with nobody. And she'll be, you know, doing the whole woe is me, trying to victimize herself, playing a victim. And I'll be like, nobody said that. It's very specific people who did very specific things, and I have a problem with those very specific people who did those very specific things. There are other people who still hang out with those very specific people and took their side. So I don't feel comfortable around those other people either. And this is another thing that blows my mind about the whole situation, right? My birth mother was a product of a rape. My grandmother was raped. That's how my birth mother was born. So to have my grandmother go through that, right? And then my birth mother talked about that shit so fucking much. Everybody in my family knows about that shit. And if they don't, they either forgot or they just not that close, right? So for my grandmother to say, you got raped, so what? You're not special. Everybody gets raped. Because she's mad that my cousin couldn't have her birthday party here. The same cousin, right, that could have been pregnant with my child if I wasn't as smart as I was and I didn't end up going to therapy. Because my cousin had a bunch of inappropriate behaviors and was constantly trying to touch me, constantly taking her pamper off, following me around type shit. And we were like 3 years old, right? Imagine being a 3-year-old little boy running away from your girl cousin because she's following you around. And my birth mother knows about this shit. She used to talk about this shit all the time. So, like, going through shit like this for years and years and years, knowing what my aunt vagina looked like, knowing what my cousin, you feel what I'm saying, feel like in certain areas of my body where I shouldn't know what that shit feel like. And then I just cope with the shit to the best of my ability. You feel what I'm saying? Started a charity, started botanical black activity. You feel what I'm saying? Started collecting heirloom seeds, got over 26,000 heirloom seeds and over 500 varieties, right? Giving it away for free, mailing that shit out, spending over 100 and something, 200 and something dollars just to ship that shit out. And then all of my accomplishments, all of my money moves, you know, being able to get the loan successfully, paying off the first loan, trying to, you feel what I'm saying, pay off that first loan to make it to the second one so I can just outright buy the house. You feel what I'm saying? Like trying to help my grandmother fix up the house, but her being stubborn. And it's weird because, like, on the flip side, whenever I try to get my grandmother's house fixed up in any way, shape, or form, right? Whenever I had the money for it, my grandmother would freak out and she would be like, "No, I don't want all of these people up in my house." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? All of what people?" And she was like, "You know, coming in here, breaking stuff and whatever." And I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, "What do you think is gonna happen when you feel what I'm saying? When we hire people to fix your cabinets?" And then she's like, "Well, the kitchen need to get painted before that." And then I started noticing that, like, anytime I say anything about getting the house fixed up, it does not matter how correct or how uniform or how, you feel what I'm saying, safe my option is. In her mind, she needs me to be an irresponsible, untrustworthy person, because if she admits that I am responsible and that I am trustworthy, it'll conflict with her ideas of who I am as a person, and it'll conflict with her own ideas about who she is as a person, right? Because if you're wrong about somebody, if you've been gossiping about somebody behind their back, or you've been talking to people about that person, or you just have a certain disposition, then that person disproves your disposition. You're basically cooked, because now you have to constantly grapple with that hypocrisy, or you have to constantly grapple with that false reality, right? Now it's harder for you to walk around. Like when you look at people in these political debates, no matter what side of the fence they on, you can see people's wheels in their head, right? You can see the wheels in their head turning when they're trying to disprove something that is like factually true, right? Like maybe they're uncomfortable with that particular thing being the truth. So you feel what I'm saying? They're trying to argue, but they don't have the academic or professional experience in any of the relevant sciences or whatever, or in communication to handle that conversation responsibly. And I understand that, like, it's not both sides are exactly the same, blah, blah, blah. But like what I'm saying is, no matter who you are, no matter how right you are, if you're in a situation where you may not have the tools necessary to really advocate for yourself, it can be very like, it can be very disappointing, right? It can be soul crushing. It can be like really, yeah, it can be disheartening. So I can only imagine if a person who has cognitive disabilities, or a person who's been living a life a certain type of way for so long, eventually comes across a person like me, and I'm autistic, by the way. Keep that in mind. So like every now and again, you come across somebody who, you feel what I'm saying, they just been living a life a certain way for so long, and when reality clashes, it's like they fall apart, right? They damn near have a nervous breakdown. And that's basically where my grandmother is right now. Every single time we have a conversation about anything, doesn't matter what it is, we will end up having this long, drawn out, almost argument, because my grandmother is one of those people who, number one, she just likes to hear herself talk. And I know everybody kind of likes that to a certain capacity, but like she really, really likes to hear herself talk, no matter how wrong she is about a particular subject. And because she like survived, racism and segregation and stuff in the 50s and 60s, specifically in the 60s, like it's like she has that stubbornness about her, where she's like, I'm grown, can't nobody tell me what to do. I'm too old to be, learning this or dealing with all of that. I do what I know, but then she doesn't really know. She just develops certain habits over time, and she's comfortable with that. So it's like now I have to go through the trouble of going through the legal system to try to figure out, all right, if somebody is mentally unfit, right? If they are saying and doing things that are genuinely dangerous. And again, like this house is owned, right? Like we don't rent. This house is owned. So when it comes to like rental agreements or whatever between family, if the house is owned, you don't actually need a lease in order to like legally house somebody. But when housing disputes start coming up with shit like this, and you're dealing with someone who isn't reliable when it comes to like remembering what rental agreements you had or remembering what plans you had, so on and so forth, and they just kind of want to run with their own narrative, now shit is dangerous. But legally speaking, you may not necessarily have legal protection just because you have a family member that's being verbally abusive. right? Like depending on the lawyer you have and depending on the judge you have, you might not get the protection you need simply because somebody's being verbally abusive or um, their memory failing puts you in a fucked up position where, you know, now they're screaming and hollering, or and it's not that my grandmother is the type to constantly be screaming and hollering. She do be raising her voice and cussing at me and all other types of shit. But it's like whatever example you have in your head or whatever situations you might have gone through, right? Like I'm just trying to be empathetic and really like imagine all the different ways people could go through shit. But it's like there's a distinct difference between what the legal parameters are for, protection versus what the ethical parameters are and what your expectations would be in a situation like that. It's like if I'm making inappropriate comments to one of my female coworkers, right? And this woman is minding her business. This woman is, you feel me, not paying me no mind whatsoever, but I continue to make inappropriate comments towards her. The higher ups, right? HR and all of that, if they don't have any proof that I actually made those comments and they're being irresponsible, right? They could easily just be like, well, listen, I understand you feel uncomfortable. What's going on, Miss Blake? Baby ma. But it's like even if I'm making inappropriate comments towards one of my coworkers, right? That woman could be paying me no mind, have a whole husband, all of that. But the reality is even if she takes that shit to HR, if she doesn't have like email proof or video proof or audio proof, there's a very good chance that HR will simply go, okay, well, I understand that, you may feel uncomfortable about some things, but like legally speaking, you know, this ain't the same thing, right? Like we can't just fire him or whatever, whatever, just because you're a little bit uncomfortable. And that's basically, you feel what I'm saying, what I'm worried about. It's like I know I could do the whole, use the legal system to protect myself. But once you go that route, you have to keep following that path to the fucking end, right? Because afterwards, there's no going back from that. Like after that, you know for a fact, damn, there's nothing else that can be said or done. I just legitimately have to, if you stand on it, he'll run right back to you. But yeah, so it's like like me, like I'm definitely angry as fuck. I'm definitely traumatized as fuck. Chronic depression, my PTSD is on full blast right now, right? Like all of the intrusive thoughts, all of the emotions in my head right now. Um, because I basically just woke up from a fucking nap and my grandmother was like, "Oh, I need you out by September 7th." And I'm just like looking through my text messages and shit like we have an agreement. Like what are you talking about? Like first of all, it's weird to be treated like a bum when you're successful at the shit that you've been doing. Like it's weird that when I started putting out music, I got viral views, I went viral, that shit was cool. I went on tour. You feel me? Did the whole shebang. When I started doing charity work, the charity work took off. I just went viral not too long ago. Literally the first day I posted on social media, I went viral, tens and tens and tens of thousands of views, all of that, people blowing up my emails, so many orders that I can't even fulfill them all, right? Two jobs, all of that shit. You feel what I'm saying? Even from when I was like young, like when I was a teenager, right? Because I think at the time I worked at Aeropostale and I worked at the Blacks and Wax Museum, and then I got another job at Lakewood Elementary doing janitorial shit. Wait, what are you doing? No. That's why you keep getting fucked up. You stun and slash, and you use the jump attack slash, and now it don't. It's too late. He's already crawling up the wall. So you're gonna have to Z target it or aim at it. When an eye turns red, shoot it. You took too long. Anyway, yeah. So like waking up from a nap and then randomly being told, you have less than 30 days to vacate the premises. And then the letter she wrote me, right? It was all this, oh, I love you and I've been, so patient. And I'm like, you weren't being patient with me when you threatened me with homelessness because you saw me with a Domino's pizza. Right? Like this is the same person who literally threatened me with homelessness the same year I moved in because she saw me with a Domino's pizza. You don't shoot it in the eye, you stun it. Jump slash,
Okay, I am not good at this like at all.
jump slash, Z target, jump slash, jump slash. All you have to do is yes. Again. Damn.
Leave me alone! Are you not good at this?
So keep that Z target. Get the slingshot ready. Get the slingshot ready.
Really?
Jump slash. Jump slash. Back up. Jump slash. Jump slash. You gotta stop pausing. You be pushing a button and waiting and pushing a button and waiting. Spam the button and then back up and spam the button. No, wasn't no heads up. Mind you, we've had the same rental agreement since January 29th. And that shit is in writing. I literally looked at my text messages just to make sure, right? But then again, I'm dealing with somebody who has cognitive issues and doesn't take any personal accountability or responsibility for the fact that they can't remember. Which means in her mind, I've just been living here for no reason. Mind you, Yoshi lives here, right? Man lives here. That's three people. And both of them moved in this year. And I still remember the conversation we had. We sat in the kitchen and talked for like an hour and a half about, you feel what I'm saying, the whole rental agreement, what the plan was, what the time frame was, the earliest I was going to get this shit done, the latest I was going to get this shit done. Told her we got approved, right, pre-approved for the $300,000 home loan. Right now, think about that. In today's day and age, who the fuck gets approved, right, pre-approved, and then legitimately approved, right? When you call in and they're like, yeah, everything looks good. If you want to finalize this process, all you got to do is bit by bit. And all you're doing is like, all right, I just want to make sure I have more than enough money coming in to pay off this loan every month instead of just doing it, then trying to get the job later. I want to get the job first before I try to get the house. And this was after already getting approved for the $10,000 loan. So got approved for the $10,000 loan, right? Then got approved for the $30,000 loan. Got the brand new car. Still, literally, still paying that car off, mind you. Then trying to save up to get the actual home loan, to get the whole house, to pay everything off, moving expenses, all of that. And then it's just like boom, in the middle of that shit, this happens. So like overall, right? It's one of those situations where, like I said, like, and I'm a just keep framing it like that because it's the only way I really know how to frame it when I'm pissed the fuck off and you feel what I'm saying, depressed about shit, worried about my future and whatnot. But yeah, nah, it's just now I have to like lean into content creation and try to, make myself go viral so I can be famous on Twitch and pay my bills with Twitch. And like, and another thing about this that makes it so fucked up is that the job market is especially not good right now. Like, I would just say that specifically because just now, recently, over the last several months, they've been, putting lawsuits against these different job posting websites because different recruiters and different job posting websites kind of work in tandem with each other to basically host a bunch of fake jobs, and it's just like scams everywhere. You feel what I'm saying? Fake ass job listings, AI listings, where the company that posted the AI listing don't even be checking for that shit, right? And one of my homies posted a video on Instagram recently, AJ. He posted a video recently talking about how he literally spent the last of his bread to get his ass on a bus to go in for a job interview just to find out there was no job interview. They had been using AI to do their job shit and then basically abandoned it. But they never cut the shit off and they never, you feel what I'm saying? So then he basically showed up for a job interview for nothing. So me and everybody else been applying for different jobs in our sector, mind you, right? Because I have academic experience in the behavioral sciences. Uh, I'm certified in health and fitness. You feel what I'm saying? Like shit like that. Like I could be a shift leader, I could be a manager. You feel what I'm saying? So I have different skills that I've accumulated over the years because of my work experience, right? My work history and all of that. But like that work history don't really mean shit if you feel what I'm saying. There are more fake job listings than there are real job listings. And now it's gotten so bad that like a lot of times people be telling you to just come in and bring your fucking resume, and a lot of times they'll just do like a quick interview on the spot, or they'll schedule you for an interview on the spot, because the way technology be working with LinkedIn or Indeed or ZipRecruiter or any of these other websites, you're not always going to actually get through to them. A lot of times you might just get stuck in a fucking loop in a revolving door, just waiting to be, waiting to get a call back. And like fucking clockwork earlier today, and it just popped in my fucking head, a place that I applied to be a manager to like a month ago, they literally just sent me a fucking email denying my application. So like it's funny, like not funny haha, but funny weird that everyone who's like economically aware, everyone who's, they have real professional experience in economics, and yeah, not waiting a whole month to say that shit, literally. But everybody I know, right, on social media, like all of the licensed professionals who they have that real solid professional experience in economics and understanding infrastructure, sociology, psychology, all of that. Everybody keeps saying, all right, now is the best time for everybody to band together, right? Everybody need to go to therapy. Everybody need to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do to, you feel what I'm saying, get their mind right, because like shit is getting really bad. They yanking innocent people out their cars. They're kidnapping people and their children, putting their children in, detention facilities. Um, there are pregnant kids, right? Like pregnant children, right? Pregnant middle schoolers, pregnant kids in these detention facilities that were not pregnant when they went into these detention facilities because they were, raped by people who work in these detention facilities. They were raped by ICE agents. They were raped by police officers. Kids that have gone missing, they literally don't know where these children are, right? Mothers and fathers and aunts and uncles and grandmothers and grandfathers that have gone missing. They literally don't know where these people are. People who finally get released, right? But they purposefully release them in the dead of night or early as fuck in the morning when it's freezing cold outside. No shoes, you feel what I'm saying? And that person is basically just stuck in the middle of nowhere, dying from exposure. And numerous people have already died that way. But again, my none of that shit matters to my grandmother. That stuff is in the outside world. And as far as I'm aware, as far as I can tell, my grandmother's unique type of dementia makes her the type of person where she can function okay as long as she's staying true to her habits. If she breaks her habits, then her dementia becomes very apparent because now she has to operate outside of something she's used to doing. But it seems to be specifically centered around like emotion. As long as she feels grounded, she will be grounded. But the moment she feels like she doesn't have control, everything else falls apart. And because it feels like she can't control me, right? Whenever it comes to like remembering something I said or remembering something I did, it's like that shit is gone. It doesn't register. But yeah, now I gotta hyper focus on content creation. I gotta do a bunch of research into getting a lawyer and figure out how much that shit is gonna cost me while actively trying to save up for everything else I was fucking doing. Right. Everybody, and mind you, I know a bunch of other streamers. Like I've been, you feel what I'm saying, following other people, giving other people subs, gifting people subs and shit like that. But it's only so many people on Twitch who can, you feel what I'm saying, especially within the small group of people that I actually talk to. It's only so many hours somebody can spend in my stream, trying to make sure my numbers stay high. It's only so many times somebody can give me a shout out while they are streaming to try to get people in my stream. And if they are actively streaming, then it ain't gonna be that many people who cross over to join my stream. It's only so many people who are willing to legitimately do co-op gameplays with me, especially considering they've never really met me before. And it's like now I gotta try to figure out a way to like forge as many organic relationships as possible, right? Like, because in situations like this, you don't want to slow down on the content creation and you don't necessarily want to speed up unnaturally. You want to kind of keep some type of consistency to make sure, all right, well, let me just build upon everything I have. Yeah, not waiting a whole month to say that shit. Yeah. I had to read that shit again. That shit really did piss me off. But yeah, it's business as usual. Everybody be going through that when well, not literally everybody, but like most people go through that when they be trying to apply for jobs. But yeah, it's a real fucked up situation to be sure. But the main thing I'm focused on now is trying to figure out how much a lawyer will cost, trying to figure out what the best way is to like get as many subs as I possibly can. Like, should I reach out to certain content creators? Like, what the fuck? Like, what do you even do in a situation like that when you've done what you're supposed to be doing, but because you're dealing with people who don't really like to take accountability or responsibility, they kind of just, flip everything back on you like, oh nah, you know, I've been patient and I still love you and all of this other stuff, even though I got mad when when you didn't want your weird sexually inappropriate cousin to have her birthday party here, and it's like, come on, bro. And I got a fucking headache. I knew it was a reason I had a headache yesterday. I know I'm not yesterday. Wait, is it past 12? Yeah, it's officially past 12. I knew it was a reason I had a damn headache earlier yesterday when I was like getting ready to stream. I'm like, damn, I got a fucking headache. I wonder what's bothering me. I'll be right back. Well, actually, the canteen should be. I don't feel like going downstairs and filling this whole canteen up, so Never mind on the BRB. But yeah, throughout the years, it's been really weird trying to take care of my grandmother while she actively feels like, she does everything herself, whatever, whatever. Um, I tried to talk to her about, fixing the air, getting the cabinets fixed, because there's a wooden beam literally holding up the cabinets in the kitchen. And it's weird to me that like it's weird to me that somebody could argue so much against getting their house fixed up. But when you're dealing with somebody who has dementia and that paranoia kicks in, and they just start making shit up off the top of their head about, somebody's gonna steal something, or you feel what I'm saying? What else did she say? That somebody was gonna break something or whatever, and it was just weird. Like she was really just making stuff up off the top of her head as I was talking about why the air was messed up. Cause man is basically what is it? I forgot how many years he's been doing this shit, but he's been working on, different people's houses, multi-million dollar, projects and shit like that. Plumbing, electrical, HVAC, all of that. So with the experience he had, when he looked in the basement, he was like, "Oh yeah, these are your problems," and then listed all of that shit off, pointed to it. And I tried to tell her that shit, but then she was just like, you know, um, what did she say? Uh, she was like, "Oh, all you need to do is take some styrofoam, this, that, and the third, and cover up the window if it's too hot." Right? Mind you, it was 100 and something degrees in here.
Oh, uh,
Yeah, they go to fucked up textures again. That shit look like a creepy pasta.
oh
But yeah, like, um, what did she end up saying? Oh, she was like, I asked her straight up when we kept going back and forth, and I could feel myself getting frustrated. I was like, listen, when you hit that final wall and you have to decide to either sink the money into it, or what is it? To sink the money into it, or um what is it? To sink money into it, or basically sell the house. I was like, what are you gonna do? And she was like, well, I'm gonna just ask Roberto for help. And I was thinking, my cousin who got both his legs cut off, like, I understand he's a hard worker, and you feel what I'm saying, because he was in the military and stuff, and a police officer, he got benefits. But like, and like me and my cousin not super close, right? Like he one of my older cousins from the previous generation. So maybe it's something I'm missing. Like maybe he's a millionaire or some shit, or he's secretly rich as fuck. But like, in her head, even though she be saying, don't count chickens before they hatch, I never rely on other people, right? When I asked her about it, she was just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna ask Roberto," and I'm like, "Okay, well, obviously something is wrong here, right? Like I know that he's a fairly reliable person, but like, why is that your answer when you have someone living here who has the necessary professional experience to like do the work?" And like, I'm your grandson, so I'm not going to charge you for materials. I'm not going to charge you for labor. Obviously, we're just going to have to pay for materials. So like, we would just put our money together to pay for those materials. It's like shit like that. But logic don't be logicking. Whenever I talk to my grandmother, it turns into an argument, or at the very least, a very confrontational debate, because she'll be communicating her opinions as if they are fact. And then she'll get more and more aggressive as the conversation goes on, and more abrupt and short and like abrasive, because she's just trying to like win the conversation, right? So she just be playing word chess past a certain point where it's like when reality conflicts with her opinions, and then the moment reality conflicts with her opinions, that's when you get the whole pattern of like, okay, well, I'll just, and then she'll just get frustrated and say something random without thinking about how that impacts our relationship. So when she said the whole, so what, you got raped? You're not special. Everybody gets raped. That was just her trying to win in whatever way she could, right? And that's why people with cognitive disabilities or people with issues like that can be very dangerous, because they'll say really outlandish, cruel, off the wall shit like that, and then turn right back around and be like, well, you raised your voice at me that one time. And then other people in your family will literally be, oh, you raised your voice at your grandmother, and you'll be like, I can't be the only one who's like, you feel what I'm saying? Can't be the only one who's seeing that this don't make any fucking sense. But then you look at the education statistics in the United States, over 54% of the adult population in the United States has the reading and comprehension, right, of a sixth grader or below. Or it's like measured at or below the sixth grade level, right? Most adults in the United States are reading and comprehending information at or below the sixth grade level. About 45% of the adults in the United States are reading and comprehending information at or below the eighth grade level. So there's literally an epidemic of uneducated motherfuckers in the United States, right? And not specifically just motherfuckers in general, uh, but to be more specific, adults, right? There's an epidemic of adults who just are operating at or below the sixth and eighth grade level in terms of reading and comprehension. So when we think about all of these posts we keep seeing of different black women saying, "Oh, my mother, said I deserve to get raped," or this is that and the third. Y'all gotta understand, this shit is happening to black men too. It's just that because traditional relationships and the idea of gender roles and like Christianity and all of that is like really pushed to a lot of people, most people will look at men in general and just be like, oh yeah, it don't really matter what you're going through or what you went through as a kid or all of the ways people stole money from you, the way your birth mother stole all your disability money and shit like that. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is, technically speaking, somewhere it might have been possible for you to survive. Therefore, I'm just going to run with the idea it was definitely possible for you to survive. You just should have worked harder. So overall, we're just kind of at that point where, uh how do I put it? We're just kind of at that point where, you know, when you see me on here, I'm gonna probably be talking about some real shit. I'm gonna have to turn my life into a damn documentary or something. Like, I'm gonna have to start, filming TikTok videos. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to go live on my Botanical Blacktivity account and let everybody know what the fuck is going on. It's like every time I get somewhere and I do some real cool shit, somebody in my family do some dumb shit to get in the way. Like, I remember back when I was first trying to teach people how to work out, and I got a really good fucking client. I think I got paid like $300 because this was like my first time really getting paid, right? Like, it's one thing to be talking to the homies or whatever and they slide you a couple bucks, but this was the first time I actually got paid to help somebody work out, to actually train somebody, to build like a whole meal plan and everything, like the whole nine. And it was like I had to cancel because my grandmother had my birth mother, who, right, my birth mother, no contact, right? But she had my birth mother sitting outside. So it was like, how am I supposed to train my client when, you know, I'm going through something because the woman who abused me for over 2 decades is just chilling outside like ain't shit going on. And my grandmother has personally witnessed a lot of the crazy shit that my birth mother did. Where like when my originally me and my birth mother was on the same phone plan, I paid off my phone and then got my number transferred to a different service, right? She called because I had the same company, but it was now in my name, right? So she called and was like, "Oh, he stole this, that, and the third." No, it wasn't the number. It was a cell phone. I got a new number using the same physical cell phone because I had paid the cell phone off. That's what it was. So she called the company and got the cell phone deactivated, saying that somebody stole it. And then my grandmother had to come all the way downtown to the store with me, to the AT&T store, just so we could sit in the store and I could have the lady tell her to her face that the phone had been paid off months ago and that the phone wasn't stolen and that I didn't owe my birth mother any more money, that my birth mother was just upset because she couldn't afford to pay for both numbers on her own. And I took my name off the shit and went and got my own number with the phone that I paid off. So like every single time some shit come out of my mouth, I gotta prove it, right? My grandmother has a habit of like pretending that she believes me, but then in reality, you feel what I'm saying? She'll just be building up some type of resentment behind the scenes or feeling some type of way, or, and then she'll just not say anything. And then she'll just feel some type of way, not say anything, forget the specifics, feel some type of way, not say anything, forget more information, feel some type of way, not say anything, forget again, until eventually she feels some type of way, not say nothing, and forget, all the way to having this fucking elaborate idea of what the fuck the situation is, or who I am, or what I got going on, or what I don't got going on, or whatever, or, you know, and basically it just ends with her Jedi mind tricking herself into thinking that, you know, she actually did something. It's like people really be swearing up and down that they're patient and they're kind and all of this other shit, but they fight you every step of the way. Every time you try to get some peace, they fight you on that shit, bruh. Like literally every single month, some weird shit happens and I gotta pivot around it. And then my grandmother never remembers, so it's like every single month I'm on edge wondering, is this the month where when I wake up and like now I gotta, you know, worry about finding another place to live? Clockwise. I got you. Save save your little gameplay. All right, there we go. Because I'm using the Ship of Harkinian mod. That way I can see all my shit. But yeah, I've been streaming for an hour. Um, I guess I'm a I'm gonna get ready to like, you know what I'm saying, try to get some sleep. But I gotta do a bunch of research. I gotta figure out, like I said before, how much it'll cost to get a lawyer, how much time I'm working with. Um, and I was in the middle of researching grants for my fucking so this is gonna be a lot because I literally just got botanical blacktivity off the ground. Uh, yeah, this is gonna be rough. Either way, you feel what I'm saying? It's no reason to talk to y'all crazy. So I wish y'all the best. As always, love yourself because if you don't love yourself, how the hell are you supposed to know if somebody else really love you or not? And be yourself because being somebody else takes way too much effort. And we all have enough on our plate, clearly. It's not goodbye. It's see you later. Because as always, I'll see you later. So as always, See you later.